You're joining the Loudr Lawyer Network, the podcast where we sit down with the law firm owners, attorneys, and visionaries that are making the most noise in the legal landscape nationwide to find out the secrets to their success. Other podcasts think they're getting loud, but we're getting louder. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Loudr Lawyer Network, where we help attorneys scale to $1 million months with powerful strategies and connections. I got none other today than Will Brooks from Leduc Entertainment. Hey, the CCO. What's up, man?
Sir. What's up, Roger? It's good to see you, man. Glad to be here.
Hey, glad to have you here, man. I'm just having my afternoon mushroom.
Is that mushroom coffee?
Mushroom coffee.
I don't drink coffee, so I haven't had it. I'm a weirdo. I don't drink coffee. I somehow get by without it.
Yeah, man. So what's up, man? We over here at Loudr Network, we're about strategies and connections and stuff.
Yep.
Why don't you tell everybody about what you do?
I love that, man. That's what we're all about too. At Leduc Entertainment, we work in the legal niche just like you guys do. We work with law firms all over the country. We work with a lot of legal vendors as well. Building out personal brands, helping them build out their referral networks, helping them establish podcasts, which accomplishes both of those things I just said. It helps to build out your referral network and to build your personal brand. We do a lot of on-camera coaching, getting people comfortable in their own skin on camera. You know how that goes. I know you're an actor. So you know that we do a lot of acting training. My background is in performance. Armando, who's the founder of our company, his background is in performance and production. So we take a lot of that experience that we have in that world and apply it to people who are trying to build their brand. It's all about being comfortable in your own skin, not worrying about what people think about you, and putting the stuff that you know the most about out there for the world to hear and see. So that's what we're helping people do.
That sounds very interesting. You said something that struck me. You said that you do branding and things for attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
What specifically led you to doing branding for attorneys?
So we, again, it kind of stems from that performance background, right? My background is in like live performance, live theater. Armando's background, he's done some of that, but he also has a film background. And so we do video production for a lot of law firms, short form social media content. We shoot meta ads, stuff like that for law firms. And you know, in our own internal marketing that we're doing for our company, we realized that, you know, like Armando, he's the face of our company. He's the brand.
Right.
And so we realized that, you know, if you're building your company brand, you got to build your personal brand too, because people are going to associate a face with the company. And so you got to build that out. You got to build trust and you got to build authority. And you got to be somebody that people want to see and want to hear from. And so we were doing that a lot with our own stuff internally, and it was working. And we kind of just connected the dots and realized like every business owner needs to build their personal brand. It's just something that you have to do. You know, you got to have a face like Progressive, right? The insurance company, they have Flow, right? Flow. She's the face of that brand. Now she's an actress. It's not her personal brand, but they're applying a personality to that bigger brand. So when you think of Progressive, you think of Flow.
Right. It's kind of like Jake with, well, that's not a good one.
State Farm, yeah, same deal. Ronald McDonald. You gotta have that face. So, but with a law firm, with a lawyer, if you're a lawyer, especially if you're a personal injury lawyer, you can't have a mascot, because your mascot's not going to be representing you in court. You want to see the guys that you're working with in that contents. And so you gotta be personable. You got to come across as somebody that people want to interact with, people want to call. And every personality is different, right? Everybody's different, that you have on. Some people are more soft spoken, and so you kind of lean into that and say, okay, let's build your brand around your personality. Some people are brash and loud and really out there and super high energy. Okay, cool. Let's lean into that for what you're doing. But you know, attorneys are not actors. So creating a character is not something that they're going to do. They need to be comfortable being themselves. let that
Yeah.
be the character.
They need to be themselves. They need to
Yeah.
be genuine, because you don't want to get an actor
Yeah,
portraying an attorney.
and we find
But
that
there are
people
some that do that.
there are, and you know, I wouldn't trust a law firm that has an actor representing their face. I mean, some people do. There are lots of people out there that do it. For me personally, and for a lot of people, you know, I want to see who it is I'm going to be working with, and so
Right.
we're building that out with these firms from the jump. Like, let's start creating some social media content for you. Let's start a podcast, and then the podcast has all kinds of extra benefits beyond just the brand building. There's a whole lot of other stuff that comes along with that. The brand building for a podcast is really kind of the cherry on the top of the sundae. Really what you want to use your podcast for is to build out your network and to connect with the people that you need to connect with that are going to help to grow your business. That's the whole point of the podcast. So yeah.
Yeah. Take me back to the first moment, the first attorney that you guys did this for.
Yeah. So this was not too long before I jumped onto the company. I've known Armando for 25 years.
Wow.
We go
You
way
guys
back.
have history. You guys
Yeah,
have
we
some
got history
history.
going back doing theater together when we were both in our early 20s. That's where we met doing plays. We met doing One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest on stage.
Wow.
Yeah, like
Okay,
25.
who played the Jack Nicholson character?
Neither one of us played the Jack Nicholson character.
Oh,
No, no. I was the stuttering guy in the movie, the kid that
okay.
stutters. That's who I was, and Armando was one of the other inmates. I can't remember which one he was.
Wow.
I think he was the
Great movie.
Yeah,
Great,
great
great.
movie. I think he was the Christopher Lloyd character that was in the movie. I think that's who Armando played. But we met on that show, and just became fast friends and have stayed friends ever since. But when I came on board, Armando has a friend that he went to high school with who is a lawyer now in the Atlanta area. His name's Luis Scott, and Luis was he was co-owner of a firm in Atlanta called Bader Scott. I think it's just called the Bader firm now because Luis left, and because he started a consulting company called Eight Figure Firm, and they work with attorneys all over the country with operational stuff and marketing things and strategies to help take their firm to an eight figures in revenue. That's their whole goal on the firms that they work with. So he contacted Armando and was like, I need some video content. Are you doing video work? And Armando said, yeah. Came in, did some video content for Luis. And then he started referring his clients to us to do video content for them. And so we were working with, he was bringing us a whole bunch of revenue, which was great having that. And
Right.
I tell you, the great thing about Luis is he was Armando's first guest on Armando's podcast. And then Luis became a client. He's still a client today. He's our longest standing client. And he referred millions of dollars of business to us over the years. And all that stemmed from relationship building, networking on the podcast. Granted, they had a relationship beforehand from going to high school together, but they hadn't been in touch in a while. And, they connected and started things out. So yeah, we started working with him, and then he was referring attorneys to us. And this was before we got into podcasting with our clients. We were just doing social media content. And so we started working with those attorneys, working on personal branding, working on content for them. We were working with all kinds of other businesses as well. And I guess it's going on 2 years now. About 2 years ago, we kind of realized like we have a ton of attorney clients. We've been working in that field for a while. We know the language, like we speak their language. Let's niche down. So we niche down to working in the legal world, not exclusively, but like that's our primary niche where we work. We work with attorneys and really a lot of PI lawyers, not just PI, but a lot of PI lawyers. So it's kind of process of elimination and educating ourselves and realizing we can serve this industry better than we can, having just any kind of company work with us. We had restaurants in our roster. We had an oil and gas company on our roster. We had an event planner on our roster. We had photographers on our roster of clients. And what we realized was, every time we get a new client in a new field, myself on the end of like being a chief creative officer, I'm coming up with these content ideas for the clients that we work with. I had to research and learn all about the oil and gas industry.
Right.
And go look at what other people were doing on social media for them and what worked for them. And then I had to research, health food restaurants, because we had a health food restaurant that we were working with and what kind of content we need to be creating for them. And it was cumbersome every single month to kind of have to research and learn a new thing. We already knew the legal world. We knew that space for a while. So we were like, let's just go with what we know. And so that's kind of where we've landed is working with attorneys and with other companies like you guys that work with attorneys as well. So
Right. So you said something about the roster of clients, like all these clients. What was the one moment that you knew you talked about Scott, but that you knew was really working and the niche was there, and that you were able to make that make a living out of it?
there's not really a moment. It's really kind of a combination of everything, right? Like I said, we had worked with. It was probably we got to the point we had worked with 15 different PI firms across the country. Or law firms, not just because there was some family lawyers in there too, but we worked with about 15 different law firms from around the country. A lot of them came in through 8-figure firm, but we were also reaching out to other people and bringing them in. And so it was really just kind of hitting on the fact that, like, this is the area that we know. Like I said, we speak that language. So there wasn't like a one aha moment. I think it was a conversation that we were having. I think Armando had gone to a mastermind at some point and had heard, that the riches are in the niches, as they say. And so we were talking about, what do we niche down in? And we said, well, we looked at our base and we were like, well, who are the majority of our clients? They're in the legal world. What language do we speak better? How do we communicate? Who do we communicate the best with? Who do we like working with? We like working with attorneys. And so all those things kind of combined to make us realize, well, let's lean hard into that. And we did, and it was a game changer for the company. Because we were focused. We were like super focused on, like, this is our lane. This is the lane that we travel in. We're going to stay here. There might be an exit ramp here and there when we get off, but we're going to get back on that lane eventually. So yeah, that's kind of, it wasn't really one moment. It was a kind of a buildup of all those things all together.
So as you have been working with PI attorneys, what is one of the myths about them that you want to dispel?
So that's a good question, Rajay. Because I had my preconceptions about what a personal injury lawyer was. You hear the term ambulance chaser, and that they're all about just making as much money as they possibly can. That's all they care about. Now, honestly, we're all in it to make money. That's why we have jobs. So I can put that aside, but what I have learned in working with so many personal injury lawyers specifically, and spending time with them and talking about what's important to them, they really give a shit about helping people. And they really play an important role in making sure people are getting what they deserve, if they've been, injured by somebody else. And they're really playing a role in making sure people are recovering, that the recovery is such a huge part of the personal injury journey. And learning that, talking to these guys, what I realized on the creative end was that message was not getting across in an authentic way. You see commercials on TV for personal injury lawyers. They all sound the same. One call, that's all. Call me, I'll get you paid. If you've been injured, you need justice. That kind of crap you hear all day long. But that's where the personal branding comes in, and getting someone on camera really talking about what they really care the most about, and getting those messages across. And that's what I would hear over and over again. Like, they would give us examples of, I'd talk to a guy who gave me an example of a case that he was working on and the problems that the client was having. Yeah, he can't get out of bed. This guy's been stuck in bed for 6 months. He can't work. So I got to make sure he's got a good doctor who's taking good care of him, making sure that he's getting to his doctor's appointments, making sure that information from the doctor is being transferred to me so we can transfer that into the case. Like, there's so many levels that go into a personal injury case, whether it's a low level case or a high level case is going to be worth millions of dollars. They care equally about those clients and getting them better. The recovery is such a huge part of it. So we've really leaned into that as well in a lot of the content that we're creating for our clients.
Very nice.
Yeah, man. They're people, and they care about people. That's the thing that I really learned the most was.
No, that is the most important part.
Yeah.
That they're compassionate. They give a hoot.
They care. Yeah. I guess I shouldn't say I said a bad word earlier. I apologize.
No, man, it's all good. It's all good. Let me see.
Hey, real quick, Roger, tell me what you guys are doing at Loudr. Are you guys doing lead gen? Is that what y'all are doing now for
And we're
attorneys?
doing lead gen here, bringing leads to qualify into good cases, into strong cases for them. So over here at Loudr, they're about building. They do content too. They do interesting content that attracts the people in the PI world.
Sure.
People in the PI world want to be seen and stuff because there's a lot of guys that are stiff collared, and you're finding, like, as you look on the internet now on social media, you have a sea of individuals out there talking about come to me, come to me. It's like going through a used car sales lot. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
You think about the if I go to a movie, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul.
Hmm.
You see these personalities everywhere, and
Yeah.
it's just really unique. And I think Loudr has found a niche that's hard line, and they go straight to the jugular. They don't really dance around anything, and they're having huge results. I mean, they're bringing cases to their clients, and clients are buying them rollies, and not that money's the name of the game, but when you look at when
Success
you look
breeds
at
success, man.
yeah, the
That's
success that they're very successful. They're very
yeah.
successful.
For sure, for sure. It's funny you brought that Better Call Saul deal, and that's what I have noticed in the last almost 5 years of working in this field is that's really changing. You don't see as much of that as you used to. It's real on social media, especially. The attorneys are there's a younger generation of PI attorneys that are stepping into the field, and they're kind of stepping out from a firm they might have been when they were junior, and they're starting their own firms, and so they're approaching marketing from a whole different angle than some of the older guys have in the past. And there's older guys who are trying to play catch up at this point because the younger guys are realizing social media is the game, and I got to be authentic. That's what people really want to see
It's
on social
personality.
media.
Everything's
They want
personality.
to see real personality. They don't want to see overly scripted, overly produced.
Right.
The people that they're putting their trust in are the folks that are real and authentic and being themselves. We've got a client in New Orleans we've been working with for a while. It's a personal injury attorney named Justin Chopin. We've been working with him for almost 3 years. And when we started working with him, he was stiff. We were, he's not a stiff guy. He's got a great personality. He's super funny. He's super cutting. But we were struggling for a few months to kind of find that voice. And that's the nature of the case with all the clients that we work with. That first month, 6 weeks,
Mhm.
it's like, okay, we got to feel each other out. We got to figure out your
Right.
voice and what works best for you. And so after about 3 or 4 months, we kind of hit on something. I think we just asked him a question on camera, and he kind of went off. He didn't get mad, but he just kind of went on a soapbox and kind of ranted a little bit, and it was really funny.
Trigger
Um,
puller.
yeah, and so we realized, like, okay, we just need to let Justin be Justin. We got to just let him cook, and got to hit him with the right questions, and just kind of let him go. And then we were able to start creating this social media content around that, and like what was also weird, not weird, but funny, is we kind of realized like where he's hitting really well is on TikTok. It wasn't hitting as well on Instagram for some reason, but the stuff he was doing was really resonating with an audience on TikTok. So we were like, let's lean into that. We're doing something good here. He's had several videos that have hit over 500,000, 1 million views on TikTok. Um, and those are the ones where he's just being himself on camera. Sometimes he's talking about legal issues. Sometimes he's talking about Jazz Fest. Sometimes he's talking about, where he went to eat last night and why it sucked or why it was great. But he's
Right.
being himself, and that's resonating with an audience. And they're seeing him, they're following him, and if he's got thousands of followers now on TikTok, and most of them are local to New Orleans because that's where he practices. He's putting himself in front of them constantly. If one of those people happens to get into an accident, ideally, the name that's going to pop in their head is that guy they've been following on TikTok who shows up so much, and they're going to call the Chopin law firm, and that's where they're going to hire their lawyer. That's why you got to put that volume of content out and put that
Right.
stuff out. And it can't always just be about the top 5 things you need to know if you've been in an accident.
Right.
Everybody does that. You gotta
Yeah.
inject your personality in there and let people in and let people know who you are. It's super important.
So you've talked about attorneys in different places in different states and things of that nature. How does your company, how do you guys get out there?
How do we market ourselves?
Yeah, how do you guys market yourself? How do people find you? Like if someone says, I need because personally it sounds like what you guys do is you come in there, you're almost like a stylist for you know how people
Yeah,
get
yeah,
styled for to give them a vibe. When actors come in, they weren't born that way. They didn't come out like that. There's somebody that comes in and puts them together, throws the right outfits on them, fixes the hair a particular way.
we do
You
a lot
guys,
of that. We do a lot of that. There's a lot of on-camera coaching that we do. As far as people finding us, we do that, and then we also are helping them with the content and coming up with the ideas that work for them and finding their voice. Just like I said, like let's figure out who you are and let's
right?
tailor the content towards that personality, towards your real personality.
Yeah, so you're like a stylist.
Yeah, on-camera stylist, I guess, like a personality stylist. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm saying, like when you see
Yeah,
someone going to the award show and stuff, like there's someone that styles them.
yeah.
They have an idea, and then you just take that idea and elevate it. You
Yes,
know?
that's perfect description. Yeah, we're taking the personality that we see when we meet with them and we talk with them. We have meetings with our clients, and we're trying to talk about like, what do you want to talk about? Who do you want to meet? What's important to you? What fires you up? What lights you up? We want to know the answers to all those questions, so then we can kind of tailor the content to those things, because we're gonna get the best stuff out of you if you're talking about stuff that you really care about. So yeah, we lean into that. I've got a client in your area in Southern California that's like super into LA sports, super into the Lakers. He's super into the Raiders. I know they're in Vegas now, but he was into them when they were around.
Mm,
So working with him on his content I think it's either Tuesday or Thursday. I can't remember which day it is, but one day a week, he does a video where he talks about what's going on in the LA sports scene, talks about what he sees, what he thinks should be happening. And those are the videos that get the most engagement for him. It's not
wow.
the videos about, you know, don't, if your insurance company calls you, these are the things you shouldn't say. That content is out there, but he's drawing them in with the stuff that he loves to talk about. Most lawyers, if they're sane, don't want to talk about personal injury all the time. They're sick of it. That's not the thing they want to talk about. When we're asking them those questions, we got to get them fired up before they're going to talk about the personal injury stuff, because they'll be bored out of their mind talking about that stuff, because they do it all day, every day. So we want to find that other part of their personality that we can bring out. The question you asked was, how do people find us, or how do we find our clients? We have a podcast. And Armando's had his podcast for 4 years. We've got another podcast that we started about a year and a half ago. And what we do is we reach out to the people that we want to work with. We invite them to be a guest on our show. We give them clips. We might give them a clip from the show. They're going to get the full episode that they can put out for themselves. And we start the conversation that way. And then we've got other podcasts we produce for other clients. We bring an attorney on that we think might be a good lead. We have them on our podcast, and then we invite them on another podcast. Hey, you should be on this podcast too. And then so we're giving them lots of time, lots of stage time. And then we follow up with like, you want to do more of this? You want to do this yourself? This is how it works, and just kind of explain it. But the podcast is where a lot of it really stems from. And then the other way is going to those in-person events around the country, PILMA, NTL, Mardi Gras, things like that, where our client base is, and where they are searching for the answers to the questions that we can answer. If we're there in person, we're able to create those leads there, book them on our podcast. And now we're doing in-person podcasts at events that we go to as well. We'll set up a booth, where vendors would be. Instead of having a table where we're giving out pens and beer koozies, we have a podcast station set up. And we get people coming in over a 3-day conference. We could do 50 or 60 podcasts.
You guys are like a lead generator for the lead generators.
Yeah, 100%. Yes,
That's
absolutely. Yeah,
a lead generator for the lead generators. So
we're doing it for ourselves too, but there are other companies like Loudr that we can do the same thing for, and bring those people in. And then what we're also doing is we work with our clients to make sure they understand how important that follow-up is. Because if you meet someone, and whether it's on a podcast or wherever it might be, if you're not following up with them and continuing the conversation, then what's the point?
Right.
You can have them as a guest all day long, but if you're not following up after the fact to continue the conversation, that's where the that's where the rubber hits the road, and you're able to really make some business happen. So whether they hire you or whether they refer someone else to you that will hire you, but you want to establish that relationship there. A lot of what we're doing is relationship building, and teaching other people how to build better relationships through their podcasts, and through their content that they're putting out. So
right. So have there been a situation? There's always two sides to a story. So I hear about all the good stuff. Has there been anything that's has just been a total? It's just blown up.
a
The
disaster.
doo-doo's hit the fan. The doo-doo's hit the fan. It's not working.
Of course. Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Example where the
attorney or it just didn't work for them. You just couldn't get it right.
Yeah. I mean, we've had clients. I'm trying to think of a specific example. I mean, we've had clients that. All right, I'll give you a good example. Here we go. I'm not going to name names, but there's a client that we had in Florida, and he was an attorney, and
all the Florida attorneys right now are like, oh, is he talking about me?
Well, he hired us to help him get a podcast going and to get his social media content solidified and to really start building his brand. And it was ebbs and flows for months, and it was a lot of times it was a lot of, and we do listen to our clients, right? It needs to be a collaborative effort, and we need to get their input on everything. But it was a lot of no, that's not going to work. I want to do it this way. And he wasn't listening to us. He hired us, but he wasn't listening to us. Wasn't taking our advice, listening to the things that we said that he needed to be doing.
So the student thought he was better than the teacher.
100%. Yeah. He was a Padawan and we were the Jedis, and he was trying to teach us how to use a lightsaber. And that's not how it works. So, you know, we eventually we fired him as a client. Which is I think he's the only, I shouldn't even say he, because now I'm gendering the guy, but it's the only client that we've
I'm gendering the guy.
It's the only client that we've fired. We've never done it before. We haven't done it since, but we had a discussion of like, is this worth it? You know, and we weren't like burning up the revenue at that point. You know, we had limited number of clients that were in house, but it was just a constant headache, constant arguing back and forth, constant edits on the video we were putting out for him. Oh, this doesn't look right. What were you thinking here? Why did you do it this way? Just a lot of second guessing. And like I said, there should be some of that. There should be, but it needs to be collaborative. And so we're very clear when we're explaining to people now, like, you know, a huge part of what we're doing is consulting and coaching you. Right. And you got to take that information and take that stuff we're giving you and put that into play. Exactly. And there was none of that from this client. So we just made the decision, this is not worth it. It's going to continue to be a headache. They weren't threatening to leave us. They were ready to stay on as a client. But we just made the decision of like, we gotta just cut this off. So we contacted the client. We're like, hey, this isn't working. There's probably somebody else out there who's a better fit for you guys. And it was a total crap show, really from the jump. And so now when we're talking with a potential client, we're kind of aware of that, and we pay attention to that in those first conversations. There are red flags now that we know to look for. And, you know, we can walk away from a discovery call and, you know, we can all meet together and say, what was the feeling? How did you feel about this guy? And we can, or this person, whoever it was, and we can know moving forward, like, is this somebody we want to continue to, is this going to be worth it? Is this just going to be a series of headaches? And, you know, there's a danger in that too, because first impressions aren't necessarily the only impression that people can give you a better impression the second time you meet them. And so oftentimes we'll have that second call to really kind of dig into things more. But yeah, there's red flags that we're aware of now because of past experiences. So that was one that just kind of blew up, that we ended up having to blow up ourselves. So
it's over here at Loudr, and what I've noticed, there's a lot of big personalities with these lawyers now. I mean, a lot of them stand out on a soapbox or on a sign, and they let their personality gets away from them. You could tell the ones that are kind of like showboating, where it's about the dollar, you know, as opposed to being about the client, which I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but attorneys go to school to become a good attorney, right? They go to school to become a good attorney. They don't know how to do the things that you provide for them. A lot of them don't have that. But then they're so used to being in control that there's a micromanagement that happens. They want to micromanage everything that you do.
See, I'm gonna contradict you there. So that's one of the reasons we like to work with attorneys so much is, for the most part, what we find with these guys is that when it comes to marketing and video production and you know, that kind of stuff, they freely admit, I don't know any of this stuff. I don't know how to do this. So you tell me what I need to do and I'm going to do it. So, and we find that with them more than we found with like other professions. Lawyers, especially if they own their own firm and they're focused on growth and they want to get better as an owner and they want to run their firm as a business, they will take that information from someone who knows more about something that they're. What I find is that most of them, they know what they don't know, if that makes sense. And so they're willing to take that advice and put that stuff into play and put our strategies into play.
No, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I was simply saying there's those ones that are standing out there that think they know what's happening. 100%. They want to micromanage what you're doing when they've hired you to do something. And they say,
it's like, let me do my job, bro. Just let me do my job and you're gonna be happy. And the stuff that we do is not, and we tell everybody this, it's a longer game. It's not a, you know, I'm gonna have 10 clients next week because I worked with these guys for a month. That's not how it works.
Right.
It's a long game. Brand building is a long game. And building out your network, it's a long game to kind of build that brand, get people used to knowing you, seeing what you got, what you can do. That applies for people in your and my line of work as well, but it also applies to attorneys. Like if they want to build that name out and get out there, you got to build it out over a long period of time. Justin Chopin, the guy in New Orleans I was talking about, is a perfect example of that. He understood from the jump, this is a building process. We're building something, and there's going to be peaks and valleys in that. And then we're going to find those peaks and we're going to try to hit more of those peaks. Once we see what's working, we lean more into that. But yeah, I mean, some things are not going to work and some things are, especially when it comes to social media content. You know, you never know what's going to hit with an audience where you're like, holy crap, I got 1 million views on this. How'd that happen? You know, it's a crapshoot sometimes, but you know, you hit enough sevens and then you know, okay, I know what I need to do to keep hitting sevens.
So you don't crap out.
Yeah. So yeah.
When you hear the term Loudr Lawyer, like Loudr Lawyer Network, what does Loudr Lawyer mean to you? What's your definition of a Loudr Lawyer?
For me, it is someone who has really found their voice and is authentically putting themselves out there. If you're being authentic and you're really being yourself and true to who you are and true to your beliefs and you know, and putting that kind of content out there and putting that kind of branding out there, you're going to be louder because more people are going to hear it if it's real. So that's a Loudr Lawyer to me is I mean, there's two sides to it, right? You can just be a loud lawyer who's like just putting a bunch of commercials out screaming at people that you need to call them. But if you're doing it the right way, the Loudr Lawyer is the one who's authentic. Those are the ones who are going to cut through the noise and be heard. So to me, that's what a Loudr Lawyer is. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, I was going to add on to it. What we say is here at Loudr is that a Loudr Lawyer is not only loud in terms of their practice and everything they're doing, but having that human touch, being able to reach out in the community, the charity, pulling things around, having that support.
Oh yeah.
And I think that helps along with what we do for them.
100%.
It helps with the ongoing mission of that slow build of the brand and everything, because that authenticity comes together.
I love that you said that, because one of the big things we hit on with our attorney clients that have podcasts is you need to have small business owners in your local community on your podcast as a guest. You need to give them a platform to promote their restaurant or promote their store that they opened up or promote their services they're providing.
Right.
Because they don't get a lot of that stuff. So if you're the guy who's out there, you've got an audience, you're building out your audience, and then you're giving the small mom and pop shop an audience as well, they're going to remember you.
Right.
And if someone gets hurt, if an employee gets hurt or someone they know gets hurt, oh, you need to call this guy. He's great. He's on this podcast. He's great. Or reach out to your local charities, have them come on, promote events that they have coming up.
Absolutely.
Get to know those nonprofits. If you got enough money, contribute to those nonprofits, but you meet them by having them on your podcast, giving them a platform. We did a mastermind earlier today, and I was talking about referral networks and how we keep it organized with all the clients that we have. And I was talking about the follow-up part of it. And I think this applies everywhere. My philosophy is give, then ask. Give, then ask. The whole deal is to give a whole lot more than you're asking, and you're going to get a whole lot more back that way.
Right.
If you're constantly asking for shit from people, you're going to get quiet. You're not going to be louder. You're going to be quieter because they don't want to hear from you anymore because you're always asking for something. But if you're hitting them and you're giving them, hey, I saw you have this event going on. How can I contribute? How can I help? Hey, I saw you have this event coming on. Why don't you come on a podcast and promote it? We'll put some content out about it and let people know you have it going on. You're giving them platforms. You're giving them time. You might be giving them money, whatever it might be, but you're a giver. And then when it does come time for that ask, maybe you hit up somebody who's in a nonprofit and say, hey, if you get our business relies on referrals a lot. If you got some people that you refer my way, please let me know. If you've already given them a bunch of different stuff and then you make that ask, they're going to be a whole lot more likely to give it back to you. So that's kind of our philosophy here, is that give, ask. And the follow-up in our sales works the same way. We want to give as much value away as we can.
I like that. That's strong. That's very strong. Very strong.
Yep. That's what we got going on, man.
Hey, man. I love it. Hey, it was great talking to you, man. Looking forward to working with you.
Yes, sir.
You know, bringing some things down here on Loudr lawyer parts. You know,
I'm excited about it too, man. I appreciate you having me, give me some time on the show today, to talk about what we're doing, and how we're trying to help.
You guys are busy, man. We want to be as busy as you.
Y'all are busy too. I know y'all got stuff going. Y'all got stuff going on. Everything's looking good. The branding's on point. The logo looks great. Love it.
Oh,
so
man.
Y'all are doing it right.
It's a moment, man. It's a moment that keeps giving, not taking. It's a moment that keeps giving to run on what you're saying.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
So you got an acting background.
Yes.
Is it mostly film, or have you done stage work?
I've done some stage stuff, and I've done film stuff, but there was, give and take. Haven't done a whole lot of projects. It was more stage stuff.
More stage stuff.
Shakespeare, yeah. I did Shakespeare. I did Othello.
What's your favorite role you ever played? I always like to ask other actors that question.
Othello. I love playing Othello. And then I did Sam Shepard's, and I always forget, it's the older brother, True West.
You did True West?
Yeah.
So you just played the one part. You guys didn't switch off roles. A lot of people do it that way, where one night they'll play one brother and another night they'll play the other one.
No, cool, man. I didn't get to, but it was one of those moments, man, that I'll never forget. I did it with Baron Brown in Santa Monica.
That's awesome, man. Love that. I love that play. Othello, that's incredible. Like that's like top tier dream role for a lot of people. That's awesome.
And then we did like The Wiz. Did The Wiz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Very cool. Yeah, I still do it every now and then when I can, when I have time. If I can find a show to audition for and do, I try to get on stage at least once every couple of years, if not more than that. But we got to work.
I'm here watching you as you're flowing, man. I'm like, I see you on Saturday Night Live, man, for real.
I'm a little old, man. I'm gonna be 50 in December, so I think
age is nothing but a number.
I know. I found out how old you were last week, and my mind was blown. I felt cool.
Age is nothing but a number, man.
I agree. I just don't know how many 50-year-olds get cast on Saturday Night Live. So
you need to change it because, like you said, the people who know what's happening, that's the turn.
100%.
The young ones can learn from the young ones can learn from the old ones.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, man. Well, like I said, appreciate you having me on, dude. It's been a super fun conversation.
Yes, sir. Learned a lot about you. Thank you for being here, Will Brooks.
Yes, sir.
Leduc Entertainment. Let's go get him.
All right, buddy. Talk soon. Thanks for having me. Thanks for being a part of the Loudr Lawyer Network. If you're enjoying the conversation, let us know. Give us a like and subscribe to never miss a thing. We'll see you next time right here on the Loudr Lawyer Network.